What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Check Down Podcast. I am Shirtless Pat, and I've been working really hard to look like Myles Garrett. I don't know if you guys saw him on Thursday night, but that dude is jacked. His arms were bigger than half the linemen he was playing against. So want to make sure that everyone knows that we are on the Get Right Fantasy Network. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, make sure you hit subscribe. Follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. With me today, I got Alshon Jeffries, a.k.a. Cody, the GOAT McGoat. He's our daily fantasy player. He's going to be giving you all that tip-top advice. And then we have Mr. The Chiefs never lose when I'm there, but now they're 6-1. Don't worry about that trap game, Greg. So thanks for this. Because of you, I'm out in Survivor. So,
screw you, Greg.
Yeah, I'm out in Survivor now, Greg. Everybody watching at home, we do try to make this interactive. So make sure you drop some comments. We'll try to bring them into the show. We'll be checking on them periodically. So we're going to break the huddle here, and we're going to get into our first down. So we didn't practice this last time. We talked about it. We kind of fucked it up. So we're just going to break it, and we're going to get better next time. All right, guys. So for the people watching at home, we're looking for some hot topics from around the NFL. So the first thing that we're going to tackle, do the Lions have a top offense? They're number 2 in scoring right now. I know, Greg, you think they have a top offense, or you don't think they have a top offense, and Cody, you do. So, Cody, go ahead and go first, and let me hear what you got.
All right. Well, Pat, just like you touched on, they're, I believe, what did we just say? They're second in points.
Yeah.
Let me get to that real quick. Yeah, they're second in points per game. They're third in yards per game, fourth in points per play, sixth in yards per play. They're second in red zone scoring, and they're second in touchdowns per game. I don't know how we're going to sit here and say that they're not a top offense with everything I just said. One thing I think they do need to work on, and what I think's honestly been a big Achilles heel for them, is their time of possession. I think they rank, I just had it up, their time of possession, they're 26th in the league. And with how bad their defense is playing right now, ranked 32 in the league. I think that's a reason why we're looking at a Lions team at 1-2 instead of 2-1, possibly even 3-0. So I think if they can get some, better time of possession under their heels, run a little more plays, because they're only 15th in offensive plays, which even just goes to show they're 15th in the league in plays run, but they're still second in scoring, third in yards. So I don't know. I mean, do I think they're the top offense? I wouldn't go that far, but I can make the argument top 3.
Okay. Greg, what do you got?
Yeah, so it's still very early in the season. I feel like we keep saying that, but I don't know at what point we're not going to be able to say that anymore. The offense has looked really good, to say the least. However, they still have Jared Goff as their quarterback. There's still the Detroit Lions. They have been playing better. But I'd go top 10, but top 5, top 3, they're overachieving right now. Their competition hasn't been the best. They played against the Commanders, who sucked. They played against the Vikings. Yeah, Vikings are okay, but they ended up losing that game. They, did put up a lot of points against a pretty solid Eagles defense. But like I said, still pretty early in the season. They've had a lot of opportunities because I feel like they've been playing behind or in very close games for most of the time. But I will say one thing. It will finally be exciting to watch the Lions on Thanksgiving Day over the past however many years where they sucked year after year after year. But, top 10 offense, I give them that. But,
I mean, you're saying top 10. I could agree with that. But big story, Deandre Swift, 8.6 yards per carry this season. He's only gotten 27 carries. I said this a couple weeks ago. Why aren't they feeding this man the ball? He had 12 yards a carry a few games ago when they were struggling to score. So 8.6 yards per carry so far this season. Amon St. Brown is a beast. I don't know if they're top 3, but they're looking very, very good. People at home, what do you guys think? Put some comments down. We'll see what you got. Cody, do you want to bring up the 2 people that did comment so we can give them some love?
Yeah, we got Dustin in the chat, a little goat emoji. I'm assuming that's for me. So thanks, Dustin. And we got Straining on second with Tony Clark. Time to get right, boys. Absolutely.
Perfect. All right. So, Greg, why don't you give me your top division in the NFL?
Well, actually, before we go on, Greg, what are some offenses you think that are better than Detroit?
Let's see. I'll start with,
because 10's a lot this early, being the second in scoring, third in yards, first in red zone touchdowns. 10, putting 10 teams in front of that's a lot.
I mean, like I said, they have gotten off to a really hot start. It has been a breath of fresh air. They've looked pretty good. If I had the choice, I'm still taking, I think, the Packers offense just because of the quarterback play with Aaron Rodgers. Let's see here. I don't know, I still like the Chiefs offense better. Still like the Bills offense better. Dolphins offense has been, really good. Ravens, there's another one. Yeah, so those are just some of them. I don't know. That was like what, 5?
I mean, you could probably put the Vikings up there. The Vikings have a
I mean,
offense.
yeah, all those offenses are much better on paper. I'll tell you that. But I mean, look at the numbers. Where are the numbers? Detroit's better than all those teams. Other than, I think, the only teams better than them right now on offense is Baltimore and I think Philadelphia.
Yeah, currently they've been on a tear.
Wise.
Don't get me wrong, they've been on a tear. But if you're gonna say by the end of the season, Lions are gonna have a top 5 offense or top 3 offense, I'm saying there's no shot. Eventually, they're gonna start to fizzle. But
Oh yeah, for sure. End of season, who knows? But if we're talking right now, September 27th at 8:38 Eastern Time, right after Week 3 of the NFL, Lions have a top 3 offense.
I mean, we're going to say they might fall off, but they did put up 24 points on the Vikings, who people said might have a stout D, and they did score 35 points on the Eagles, who had a lot of hype as a defense. So
yeah, I mean, go back.
I'll give credit with that one. The Eagles' defense is a pretty good defense. They played really well the past 2 weeks. Like I said, they played against crappy teams, but the Lions put up pretty good numbers against the Eagles.
I mean, yeah, even going back to last season, 3 of the last 4 games they played, they scored 30 plus. Amon-Ra St. Brown, just he's on his tear.
Don't get me wrong. I'm pulling for the Lions to do well. Like everybody, I think, wants to see them have success, especially after watching Hard Knocks. So we're all behind the Lions, but you guys
know I've been on the Lions train for months now. So maybe it's just me trying to
you're like draft chart,
beef myself up.
Everybody, do you want to bring up the comment we just got?
He bounced back a little bit.
So you want to bring up that comment?
And guess who the Lions play on Thanksgiving Day?
Who they got?
Buffalo.
Okay.
So that's going to be a hell of a game.
Hey, we never know. Let's see. Clarence, we got Vikings always fold eventually. Detroit is a good team. It's just they lose too many close games like last year. Yeah, I mean, it's what's expected of a young team.
Well, we'll see. Amon-Ra St. Brown, thanks for that. That's my boy Buki. So thanks, Buki, for tuning in. I appreciate it. All right, Greg, I know you're just eating here, so I'll go first. We're going to talk about what division we think is best in the NFL. So I'm going to take a cop out here. I'm going AFC East. You got the Bills. You got the Dolphins, who just played in a great game. The Bills put up 500 yards of offense, and they still lost. That shows me that the Dolphins are a pretty good football team. I don't think it's Tua time. I don't think that they're as good as Izzy. I'm dealing with a hurricane, so I can't get on today. But yeah, I don't think they're that good. But you still got some other good teams in there. The Jets, I like the Jets this year. I mean, they're struggling a little bit, but I like Sauce Gardner. I like the young explosive players that they have, and I like the Pats with Belichick. I'm always going to have faith in Belichick and the Pats. Every game, no matter what. So, Greg, what division do you think is better?
Yeah, sadly, I can't say the AFC West because they have not looked really good at all. Like, Russ has been terrible. Even though the Broncos are 2-1, they've been playing terrible aside from their defense. The Raiders are 0-3. They're a hot mess. Chargers, they're just now having so many injuries. They're 1-2. Like the Chiefs, they had a little bit of a hiccup last week, but still you hate to see them lose that game. But I'm gonna go with the NFC North. I think the Packers flipped a switch. They played really well the past 2 weeks. Their defense looked really good against the Bucs. I think Aaron Rodgers will find his groove with the rookies. The Minnesota Vikings are a very solid team. They play very well at home. The Lions, can't forget about the Lions. They've been playing really well as of lately. And the sad part is the worst team in that division is the Chicago Bears, and they're 2-1.
So they're tied for the top.
Yeah, I'd probably go with the NFC North right now. They're looking pretty good.
Cody, do you have any other input before we go to second down?
I mean, I like Greg's choice. NFC North. It's a good pick.
That's a homer pick right there. All right, we're going to move on to a second down, everybody. In the comments, throw us who you think the best division in football is. Maybe we'll get to that at the end. who was your surprise and top bust? So if you're listening at home, maybe we'll share something. If not, give us something maybe we missed, and we can bring it up here. So let's go with some prize picks. Greg, who was your biggest surprise this week?
I mean, it has to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. Everybody thought they were overachieving last week playing the Colts, shutting them out, and then they came out and they just fired on all cylinders against, a decent Los Angeles Chargers team. They're moving the ball well. James Robinson's running efficiently. Etienne's getting worked in. Trevor Lawrence looks like he's taking that next step to be in a conversation of a competitive playoff quarterback. The Jacksonville defense has been exceptional. They're getting great rookie plays. The rebuild looks like it's actually going in a good direction versus when they had Urban Meyer, and that was just an absolute disaster. But yeah, I'd say the Jacksonville Jaguars going on the road and spanking the Los Angeles Chargers was like a big surprise, but also like just very impressive overall.
Well, I think what's huge is that right now, I don't know, I'm slipping his name. Who's the coach's name?
Doug Peterson.
Say it again.
Peterson?
No.
What team?
Doug Peterson, the Jags coach?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was blanking. I couldn't fucking think to save my life, but he already has like the third most wins in franchise history at 2. So, Urban Meyer. There's that. Cody, do you want to pull up? We got another
That's
comment
honestly,
here and say what up to these guys.
Absolutely. Kenny Stay Trill, what's going on? Glad you can join us here tonight.
Thanks for tuning in. So, Cody, who was your big surprise this week?
You froze up, but I'm assuming you asked me what my surprise pick was. My surprise pick was Khalil Herbert. I mean, is it really a surprise? No, because we saw last year when he had to fill in for Montgomery some games, he played well. But he, Monty goes down, comes into this game, and no pun intended, really carried that team to to a W. 20 carries, 157 yards, and 2 touchdowns really led that comeback for the Bears. I mean, big waiver wire ad in fantasy, all you fantasy guys out there. If he's still available in your league, go get him. Cool. All right, and before we keep going, Kenny said he needs his help. What do you need help with, Kenny? So we got, who should I trade, Joe Mixon or Nick Chubb full PPR? Well, I guess it would all depend who you're trading for.
I mean,
like you're trading one
full
of them.
PPR, Joe Mixon's a little bit more valuable. It gets more receptions.
Unless Joe Mixon unless that's the trade.
Joe Mixon for Nick Chubb?
Who should? I mean, if that's the trade, if it's full PPR, yeah, Greg brings up a good point. Mixon's going to get you the catches.
Mm-hmm.
If it's Mixon for Chubb, I would not do that just because you still have Kareem Hunt in the conversation over in Cleveland. And like I said, Mixon gets targets out of the backfield. So that would not be a good trade in my opinion.
Yeah, Nick Chubb. Yeah, I like Mixon more PPR.
Oh, he's looking to trade one of those guys. There we go.
I need a receiver, so I'm looking to trade. I mean, I would probably, with that being said, I would trade Chubb because you rather Mixon in PPR, and right now Chubb probably has a higher value. You can probably sell him higher right now. So I would keep Mixon.
Agreed.
There's a good value trade chart on Reddit too. They'll let you be able to compare both of these guys to see who has a higher value in your trade. So you might be able to get a better return of one receiver or 2 receivers for either player. So what we can do is I can send that link out. We can make sure we put it in the comments after the show so anybody can look back at that and find the trade value chart from Reddit.
Yeah, another thing with Chubb too, being a dynasty owner of him for the past 2 years, he's very touchdown dependent. If he doesn't score, he's really not going to get you. Well, he'll still get you 7 to 12 points because the dude rushes for. He could run for 130 yards easy any game, but if he's not scoring those touchdowns, it kind of limits him there because, like we said, he's not catching passes.
I would keep Swift.
DeAndre Swift or Mike Evans. No, you're going to keep Swift, and Evans can be fine once he comes back.
Mike Evans is one of those players that's consistently getting you the same amount of points and probably a touchdown every week. So he's very few receivers are always consistent. A lot of them, have big weeks, less weeks, but Mike Evans is always very, very consistent every season. He's always 1,000 yards. He's always double-digit touchdowns.
Yeah, Brady loves him too. I mean, Brady hasn't been playing too well, but Brady's going to look his way. I mean, Russell Gage had 13 targets and 12 catches last week, so
Swift has gotten off
when he comes back.
start too. Like Swift has been awesome. He's getting the receptions as well. You don't want to get rid of him, even though he's like kind of injury prone right now.
Trade offers.
Oh,
So you have.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh, you have Deandre Swift for Mike Evans as a trade offer.
If you could trade sub for either of those guys, I would probably consider doing that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think Deandre.
I said I can either have Swift or Evans for Chubb or Mixon. Ooh. I mean, if you can get rid of, oh boy. I mean, if you really need the wide receiver, you probably want to go Evans. And I don't know, man.
Deandre Swift, until he's going to get hurt a lot, but until week 11 or week 12 last year, he was the number one targeted running back. So he doesn't have many carries, but he's averaging 8.6 yards a carry, and he's getting some passes. He's putting up a lot of fantasy points. But if you're wide receiver dependent and you need one, Evans is a very safe option. So
yeah. I think you can't go wrong with either of those right there.
Yeah, Chubb for either of them, a pretty safe bet, I would say. I hope we help Kenny. Jeff Wilson.
All right, what we're just talking about.
Jeff Wilson and Josh Jacobs backup running backs. Wilson gets the carries, hasn't really turned into much. And Jacobs is Jacobs. Yeah, I don't know. The only thing that worries me is Swift. Is it going to be a nagging injury? Is it going to hold him out? He's a PPR. I mean, he's a fiend in PPR. But if you are hurting for receiver, you could probably go Chubb, Evans, and at this point, you can probably even get something small. You can probably get Evans and maybe like a wide receiver 3, even with how high, the past performance. Chubb's coming off, and you got Evans coming off the suspension.
Yeah, that's our advice.
We got Ross in the chat. If you're watching the Get Right stream, be sure to hashtag subscribe to the Checkdown Podcast channel too. Thanks, Rasta.
We appreciate the
love.
Happy
you're here.
All right, Kenny, hope we helped you out. Anyone else have any questions? Throw them in there because it makes the show a little bit more entertaining for you sitting at home. I'm going to go with my surprise of the week. I have 2 of them. Mac Hollins for the Texans. He went off.
Raiders.
For the Raiders. He went off. I'm all messed up today, guys. I'm telling you. I can't even get my shit straight at work. It was bad. But he went off for the Raiders. But I think half of that had to do with how fucking awful Terrence Mitchell is. I'm just going to say it. The dude's awful. I could catch a touchdown pass on him. If you saw Mac Hollins' touchdown, he literally just held his hands up like this and caught the ball. And Terrence Mitchell was just like not being able to figure shit out. It was awful. It was so bad to watch. So he's my surprise. But I also want to say big shout out to the King. He looked back. He didn't get 100 yards, but he had 65 yards after contact. He ran fast. He ran hard. And he had a career high 5 catches. Now, a lot of people are like, 5 catches isn't that much for – but for Henry, that's a ton of catches. And he had like 50-some yards on those 10 catches. So big shout out to him. He's looking good. They play the Colts this coming week. If he can go for 150 yards, the Titans are looking to put him back-to-back wins. Riding the train of the AFC, because you don't have your sleeve rolled up. That's probably what it is. I'm feeling pretty restricted today, and I can't get it, all worked out.
Boss told him he has to stop rolling his sleeves. It's showing too much of those biceps.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to just start flexing on them. But if I pull my arms up too much, you'll see nipple. Like we said, this is a family show, so we can't be showing nips.
Put some tape on it or tassels, then you'll be okay. Then
I should get tassels. Titan tassels would be awesome.
Problem solved.
Running the Derrick Henry train here. That's going to lead into my bust for the week was the AFC West, man. We talked about it. Every show talked about it. Everyone's like, draft these players. This division is the best division of football.
Right back, fellas.
So many points. It's going to be insane. And guess what? They're 5-7 on the year, and the AFC South spanked them all week. 3-0. Just whooped their ass. So AFC South, best division of football, maybe, because they annihilated the West this week. Cody, welcome back. Who was your bust?
Had to let my dog out of the room. My bust, it's Tyreek Hill, actually. Probably your big game thus far this season, and you put up 2 catches for 33 yards. Game you'd expect your studs to show out. And, the Bills were missing both their starting safeties, and they played 2 fairly impressive thus far rookie corners. Tua got banged up. He's probably seen stars when he came back in. We'll see what happens with that investigation. But yeah.
You want to bring up Clarence's comment down here at the bottom?
Absolutely.
So,
to that we say, just stay put, Clarence. We'll answer that in just a few moments here, actually.
That is one of our last topics we're going to talk about, Buki. So we're going to talk about that at the end. So that's going to be a pretty good conversation. Greg, bust.
So listen to this stat line. 7 rushes, 0 yards, and 1 touchdown. That was my boy, Clyde Edwards-Helaire of the Kansas City Chiefs. He did not look good at all in this game. The offensive line for the Chiefs overall wasn't that good, but there were some videos of Clyde Edwards-Helaire where Mahomes is pointing at the gap, that way, run that way, and Helaire bounced outside into his own lineman for a loss of like 2 or 3 yards. All I have to say is, if you have Clyde Edwards-Helaire on your fantasy team, sell high on him right now. Even though last week he still managed to get a touchdown and it wasn't a 0. But
so, hey, man, that's 6 points right there.
I know. So that still didn't skew the stat line too much. But if you have the opportunity, sell on him because the Chiefs' offensive line has not looked good. And him in that game did not look good. Pacheco's getting worked in more and more. I do not have the confidence in him. And building off that, I was actually at the Chiefs game on Sunday. And wow, what a disappointment.
Mr. Chiefs are 6-0 when I see them live.
Oh, don't worry, Pat. It's not a trap game. Your survivor will be fine.
If there's one way I could describe the Chiefs' performance, I would say shooting themselves in the foot, literally, especially because our kicker missed a field goal as well as an extra point. But like it started off with Sky Moore muffing the ball, and it went up to the 1 yard line. Colts, boom, punched it in for a touchdown to automatically take the lead. Next drive, Mahomes misses MVS, who was open on pretty much like a go route. The Chiefs had, I think, 4 or 5 drops in that game. The offensive line was getting pushed around. Mahomes didn't play terrible, but he didn't look his best. And like I said, the kicker missed the field goal. They went for it on like 4th and 10 at the 35 or 40 on a fake field goal. And Tommy Townsend threw the ball like through the hands of some, I forgot which tight end it was. But it was just an overall piss poor performance. And I still want to know what Chris Jones said to Matt Ryan, because they both stood up right across from each other talking, and the ref just threw a flag up, unsportsmanlike, 15-yard penalty, and that kept that Colts drive alive. They run down, scored a touchdown to win the game. But, wow, that was absolutely atrocious.
It made me happy, I'm not going to lie.
What do you think Shady McCoy roasting Bieniemy on Twitter?
Yeah, I saw that. Like, McCoy was only with the team really 1 year under Bieniemy, so I don't know. Bieniemy, I mean, one thing is he hasn't found a head coaching job, and I don't think it's for the reasons they say it is. I think it's because he's, I think, missing something, or when they interview him, he's, not a good interviewer, doing something wrong where nobody wants him. And it sucks because, like, Andy Reid is, he likes to hold on to his coaches for a very long time. And now I'm kind of getting that vibe with Bieniemy, but who knows? Eventually, I would think Mahomes would have final say on what happens. But, that was just a very frustrating game. And, Vegas always wins. 80% of the money, I think, was on the Chiefs, but yet they were moving the line towards the Colts.
My survivor pick was on the Chiefs. Man. The only thing that sucks about their survivor picks this week is Izzy's the only undefeated team left. So I'm sure we'll be hearing about that. And I believe Ross's comments about Tua re-aggravating an early back injury. Hey, man, I wasn't trying to, I wasn't throwing at any, what's the word I'm looking for? Wasn't trying to accuse anyone of anything. The investigation, we'll see what happens.
All right. You guys ready to go in the third down? Talk a little bit of daily fantasy and some prize picks?
I'm ready.
All right, so people listening at home, we're going to go into our third down segment, which we talk about our daily fantasy Thursday night game. We do a check down, check in on over the weekend where we talk daily fantasy for that day. So if you have any questions about daily fantasy picks, put them on the comments here. We'll take a look at them. Or if you have any prize picks, if you're in a state that can do bets, put them down there. We'll take a look at those too. But Cody, you're our daily fantasy guy, so tell me what you got.
Yeah, so just like Pat said, this is just for the Thursday game. So right now, my MVP, so you know the points multiplier, I'm going Tyreek Hill. I'm going to take all this shit talking he's doing into consideration, going up against Eli Apple, hoping for about bounce back performance after I just had him as my bust. So I'm throwing Tyreek Hill there. First flex, I got Jamar Chase. I'll take the wide receivers on both teams. Game has all the potential to be a shootout, so why not? I'm taking Chase Edmonds as well. He's been looking pretty good this year. Catches passes out of the backfield as well. I think he scored in 2 out of the 3 games. You know, we can hope for another score there. I'm also taking Mixon. Again, catches passes out of the backfield. Don't believe he's been scoring too much this year. But like I said, this game could very easily turn into a shootout. And my last flex, I'm going Tyler Boyd. Higgins is carrying a questionable tag. We'll see if he plays or not plays. If he plays, they could limit him. So I think Tyler Boyd's a good value there. So that's what I got there. If you guys, any suggestions of what to change up, like I said, I am not responsible for any financial losses.
However, that's fine.
Like I said, and that's why we started doing this whole the check down check-in, because the 1 week we did our DFS on a Tuesday like idiots, and 2 players ended up not playing. So don't want to do that to you guys anymore. So
no, I like the lineup. I think Tyreek Hill. One, I hate Eli Apple. If anyone ever listened to any of our podcasts previously, last season, it was just a straight
the good old days
on YouTube. It was like 98% just hating on Eli Apple. Can't stand that man. So I think Tyreek's going to go off, and I like it. Go captain. In those captain plays, they get a lot of points. So if you pick the captain right, you're normally at least coming away with some sort of money, and I think Tyreek's a good pick. Jamar Chase might be another one with T. Higgins being injured, but he's going to be going against Howard, so I'm going to go with Tyreek too. We got a question down here.
Would you guys drop Hawkinson for Njoku or Conklin?
Greg's going no. I'm also going no, just because Ngokou's been inconsistent. He had a huge game. So on a Thursday night, don't let primetime games throw you for fantasy, because a lot of players show up in primetime, but they don't show up on Sunday at 1.
So also got Schultz too, but I'm going to bring up the previous
Conklin
comment.
Looks good and consistent, but he's gonna be sharing snaps here soon. So
yeah, I was going to say
go ahead.
I was going to say I wouldn't drop Hawkinson or Schultz for these guys. If you were out of Njoku and Conklin, to do it, I would take Conklin. Only thing that worries me is is he going to keep this play up once Zach Wilson comes back? He could, he may not. That's the only thing that worries me with him.
Hawkinson was like a top 5. Yeah, Hawkinson was like a top 5 tight end last year. I don't know how he's been doing this year, but he's usually a very reliable point on the offense for the Lions. Golf trusted him last year. I would be very reluctant to drop Hawkinson for one of those two. I don't think it makes much sense. It's still early in the season too.
Yeah, I would think
in quite a few leagues, and he hasn't been balling out, but I still think I'm going to keep him.
Yeah, he's got too high a ceiling to drop for Njoku, who has had one, granted, very good game, but the other 2 total duds. And Conklin's been real good. I actually picked him up in a bunch of leagues where I needed a tight end, and he's been consistent as could be. Like I said, is he going to keep this up with Wilson coming back? Like Greg touched down, it's early. He could turn it around real easy.
Hold on to Hawkinson. Hold on to Schultz. Don't worry about the other 2 guys. They're just flash in the pan. So
you want to put up his comments just so people can see it. We got Hawkinson's have been touchdown dependent, and he hasn't been getting many targets. And I feel your pain there. And with Schultz going down for you, I can see why you need it. But if the rest of your team's pretty strong, then you can rely. I would hang on to Hawkinson. If your team is weak and you're losing mainly because you're not putting up enough points at tight end, you have the option of maybe making a trade or moving the waiver wire every week. But I would stick with Hawkinson myself. Yep. That's what I plan on doing, because I have him in probably 3 out of 8, just where he fell in the draft. So thank you for the comments. Hopefully we helped. We like it when people give us some feedback here. So prize picks, guys, is there anything that you really liked? I was just scrolling through here recently. The ones that I like, the Buffalo-Baltimore game, it has Josh Allen at 330.5 total yards. The way teams have been playing against Baltimore and how good that offense is, I think Josh Allen's going over. I think he's going to run. I think they're going to bounce back, and I think they're going to play. I don't know if they're going to win that game because I said last week, Bills do not win close games. I said that last week, and they lost a close game. But I think this is going to be 30-plus points, and I could definitely see him throwing for another 300-plus yard game, plus his rushing yard. So I like the over.
I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't even looked at any picks this week, but I wouldn't argue against you on that one.
Okay.
About the Thursday night game, I love the Bengals at home. I think the line moved up to 4 points now, but the Bengals, they got off to a really slow start. I know Burrow's itching to get back into it. They're wearing the all-white uniforms. Miami, they've been playing well, but they can't keep this pace up, I think. I love the Bengals. Hammer the money line.
Okay. You were riding high on the Bengals last week, too, and they won, so that's big news. I'm just scrolling through here to see if there's anything else. Jonathan Taylor at 89.5 rushing yards. He's going against the Titans defense. With the injuries the Titans have on the outside, they're not able to stop the outside zone, and that is exactly where they like to run the ball. They like to move their guards out. So I can see Jonathan Taylor going for 100 yards. I like the over on that one, too. I know he hasn't been great, and the line hasn't been fantastic, but the Titans' run defense has been pretty atrocious. So
it'll be a close game, too, probably.
Yeah, and it's going to be a quick game. If you guys watch a game, it's probably going to be over another 3 hours. Henry's going to run. Taylor's going to run. It happens every year, every time these guys play. So.
Yeah, we might see like a combined 40 pass attempts or something.
Yeah.
Well, there was one line I saw that was actually really questionable. The Monday night game, the Rams are on the road at the 49ers. 49ers are 2.5-point favorites. Very questionable line right there.
Okay.
I mean, could be a good play.
All right, so that's we just gave you about a 14 parlay there, or a 4-pick parlay. So good luck. Throw it on there, see what happens. We're going to move into our fourth down. This is where we kind of do odds and ends things, survivor, pick them. But since Buki brought up the question about Cooper Rush, we'll actually start with that. So Buki asked, how do we think about Cooper Rush and the Cowboys? So we talked about this a little off screen. We weren't sure how we feel about it. I think that he's going 3-0. I think the team is playing well because they know he's a backup quarterback, and that defense has been insane. I don't think I would add him to fantasy. And even if he wins the next 2 games, I think it's still Dak's team. I think they're still going to put Dak in. I still think they're going to let Dak do what he does. Because when it comes to athleticism, Dak is the better quarterback. Cooper Rush has played very well, but he also played some teams that were struggling at the time. So
I think
he beat the Bengals that were struggling. So
I think what Cooper Rush is doing for the Cowboys right now is giving them more time to have Dak Prescott heal, and they're not going to be more inclined to rush him back faster. Cooper Rush continues to play at a solid level. He doesn't have to be amazing, but just like solid, maybe slightly above average. They're going to give Dak a lot more time to rest up and heal, and eventually when Dak feels he's 100% ready, then they'll get him back into the mix.
I'll say one thing. Reputation could be a damn thing, because the same reason we're saying Cooper Rush should stay in as a starting quarterback is the same reason we're getting on Russell Wilson's ass for being a bad quarterback this year. Because, I mean, if you look at stat-wise, not much difference there. They're not throwing for a lot of yards. They're throwing for about a touchdown each game. But we're saying Cooper Rush has to start. And Russell Wilson sucks when they have the same amount of wins.
The money. That's what it comes down to. Cooper Rush is what, like vet minimum or something, and you're paying Russell Wilson $240. Like, I don't know. I feel like you have to play that quarterback if you're paying him that much.
Well, Ross had a comment too. If you want to bring that up, Cody, he said Dak's being paid $40 million,
absolutely.
Right? So no way there's going to have QB controversy, and I kind of agree. Jerry Jones, there might be something.
How I feel there too.
But when you're paying a quarterback that much money, but my only concern about rushing him back is what happened to Russell Wilson last year. He had a very similar injury. He had a surgery on his thumb. Then he came back and he struggled to get the ball downfield. He struggled to grip the ball. He struggled to throw the ball. But they were also using Geno Smith, who wasn't doing much, so they had to switch it. If they keep winning with Cooper Rush, that'd be very tough to bring him back. But $40 million, you got to play him.
Yeah, that's really my only argument for it.
Just gotta wait till he's healed up. I mean, if Cooper's playing well, they're gonna be like, all right, maybe we can sit Dak another week when we're playing the Commanders this week or something like that.
Well, they got so
it definitely gives them an incentive to not rush Dak back for sure.
They have the Commanders this week, and with the way their defense is playing, and Carson Wentz just got sacked 9 times, they're going to have a field day. He's going to get another win, so they're going to probably improve to 3-1. And I don't know, it's going to be crazy. Got another comment. It's just clickbait. Anyway.
Cooper Hype's just clickbait. Cowboys going to do Super Bowl. Hey, no publicity. What did they say? No publicity is bad publicity, or something like that. Jerry Jones takes it a little too spiritually there.
You don't even know.
Jerry Jones is incredible.
The other day, he said like their leading receiver was not even on the team anymore. So he said like Cedric Wilson like was the reason they won the. Or I forget who it was, but the guy wasn't even on the team anymore or something, or wasn't even playing.
Noah Brown, man, he's going to be good with Cooper Rush out there, but he probably won't be good after that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
anyone else has any other?
Well, they're saying Gallup might be back, so that'll be big too.
Speaking of fingers, did you see Brady's on Sunday? I did not. Did you guys see him?
No, I don't.
Or they fucked up or something?
Did he break his hand, or did something happen with the Jumbotron?
I mean, I know those fingers weren't throwing a lot of touchdown passes. I'll tell you that.
Is he like throwing middle fingers at people or something, or pointing at people? I don't know.
He is a pointer.
He does.
But no, Claire, I don't know. I didn't see Brady's fingers. Well, I saw them, but I don't know exactly what you mean.
So if you guys at home have anything else that you think would be another fun topic for you to talk, or for us to talk on, go ahead and put it in there. We're going to move on to our Survivor and Pick'ems while you guys feed the comment section. So, Cody, it's your week to go first. Who you taking in Survivor?
Ooh, let's see. Super crazy, but he should be fine now. But bye, Benny now. Yeah, it must have been a finger injury.
Oh.
Well, look at that.
We'll try to get a picture of that and put it on Twitter. I need to see it. I didn't see it. So that's pretty cool.
If Chris ever gives us the password. All right. But anyway, my Survivor pick this week. I'm going nice bounce back win. Give me the Chargers over the Texans.
Okay. Well, the AFC South has already been proven to be better than the AFC West. So good luck, Cody.
That's true, but the Texans were the only one to lose last week. So
fair. Right,
and they don't look hot, and I don't know. I'm not going to dive too much into it.
All right.
Twice the size, Clarence said. So that's pretty gross. I'm going to get a picture of it. We're going to make sure we get it on Instagram and Twitter because
I'll Photoshop Chris's face onto it too.
You should. All right, Greg, your Survivor pick.
Yeah, go Pack, go. I mean, they're cruising, they're rolling right now. They got New England coming into Lambeau. Mac Jones is probably not going to play. So who's the backup for the Patriots? I don't even know.
Brian Hoyer. I believe.
It's Brian Hoyer.
So right now, right now that line I just saw is sitting at 10 points. Packers, they should steamroll them. New England's not very good on defense or on offense, especially without Mac Jones. That should be a pretty straightforward win for Green Bay.
All right. I'm going with a team we talked a shit ton about today, so if they let us down, we'll be pissed. Give me the Lions. Dominican Sue isn't there anymore, but he was one of my favorite players when he was there. I loved his aggressiveness. I also love line play, so you hear me talk about the line a lot, but give me the Lions. They're going for it. Got it out. All right. You guys ready to get in?
I forgot to update everyone on the Survivor standings before we did this. The man who's not here, currently dealing with a hurricane, Chris, he improved to 3-0. Greg and I share this 2 spot at 2-1. And Pat, you're at 1-1-1. Welcome to the win. Welcome to the win column, Pat.
You're like the Colts.
The Colts technically didn't lose, so therefore Survivor counts as a win.
Man.
It's 2-1, 2-1, everybody. But it's fine. I'll just come from the back. It's fine. All right. Rapid fire pick'ems. Just take a couple, 30 seconds to talk about it. You will get your own team, so you can take about a minute or two.
Can I just add one thing?
Yeah.
Because I didn't really get to talk about it, but the Green Bay game, Greg brought him up as a Survivor pick. We didn't just watch a great defensive matchup this past week. We watched the Romeo Doubs coming out show. I'm telling you, I said it before the season, Romeo Doubs was going to score more fantasy points than Christian Watson. A lot of people gave me a lot of slack for that one. Granted, it's only 3 games, but he's on pace to do stuff, some pretty good numbers, and numbers only a couple rookies have done.
Well,
He's
might
the
be a
guy.
waiver pick. All right. Ready? Cody, you'll go first. Since Izzy's in here, I'll make picks today too. You got Dolphins at Bengals.
Ooh. Give me Bengals. I think the Dolphins high is going to come down eventually, and I think this will be the week it happens.
All right. Greg, Vikings at Saints. This game is in London.
Ooh, it's in London. Interesting.
The Saints,
I'll go with the
so fun
Vikings.
fact if you don't know this yet, the Saints are there right now in London. The Vikings aren't going until Friday.
Until Friday.
Yeah,
It could
so
be a
that
little bit of
factors into
jet
it.
lag, maybe. I'm still going with the Vikings in this one. The Saints are actually showing some pretty cool helmets. I think they're doing the all black helmets for this game. Saints just look like trash previously. I expect Dalvin Cook to finally bounce back and do something. Jefferson will bounce back, have a pretty big game. Vikings win by, we're going to go 6.
Mine is that comeback in the fourth quarter where Winston threw for 250 yards and Mike Thomas went off. They really haven't looked that good, efficient. All right, my pick. I got Browns at Falcons. I like the feistiness of the Falcons, but I'm going to go Browns. I think they're just going to be too talented. I think they're going to run the ball down their throat. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Cody, Commanders at Cowboys.
I know you guys are saying Cowboys and Cooper Rush and everything, but give me the Commanders on an upset.
I don't hate it. Greg.
Wait. So we got Rasta said he texted me the Brady. Oh, yeah, that looks pretty. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this, but I'll turn my phone around. That looks like his ring finger there.
Oh, yeah.
He's not going to be able to put any rings on that.
That's his right hand. Is he still going to be able to throw the ball?
That finger's not that important.
It's not your thumb, so that was pretty gross. Seahawks at Lions, Greg. That was my pick, but that's fine. You can go ahead and take it.
One pride going the Lions. They've been, like you guys have said, they've been playing very well. They're going to be at home. Seahawks are just very underwhelming right now. So Lions, they get the win.
And Rasta said that the pick was before the game too.
Yeah. My shit's kind of blurry, so I apologize.
Interesting.
But thanks for the pick, Buki. Thanks, Rasta, for helping us out there because we did not see that. So next game is Titans at Colts. So I'm going to give you a quick spiel here. I never picked the Titans. I didn't pick them week 1. I said the Giants were going to win. That should be factored into my survivor too, because I did say that. Just saying. But I'm going Colts at home over the Titans. I think Jonathan Taylor's just going to run the ball too much. The Titans have had the Colts number. They swept them the last 2 years. But the Titans defense just is not looking good enough to hang. They don't look like they have anyone that's going to be able to cover Michael Pittman, and I just don't think they're going to be able to stop the run. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to come down to the wire, and whoever misses the field goal is going to lose. So I'm going Colts. I know Buki's probably a little pissed at me because he's a huge Titan fan, but sorry, Buki. I got to go with the team that I really think is going to win.
To be fair, the Colts defense hasn't really been able to hang around either.
So hopefully Titans score a lot of points. Cody, you got Bears at Giants.
Oh.
Oh, boy. Could I phone a friend? No. I'm just going to gut feeling, and just because I just can't root for the Bears, so give me the Giants.
I like the Giants this year. I'm not going to lie. Their line is pretty bad, but I also think that the pass rush for the Cowboys is one of the best in the league. So I like the Giants. I like that pick. Greg, Jacksonville Jaguars at the Philadelphia Eagles. Your surprise team versus arguably the best team in the NFL.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so the Jags have been rolling lately. Like, they looked really, really impressive in their past 2 wins. I'm going to factor in the crowd into this game. I think the Boo Birds are going to be out, but they're going to be yelling and chanting at Trevor Lawrence. They're going to be getting in his head. I like the Eagles to win this one. They're not going to be booing Jalen Hurts. They're going to be booing the Jags and all those players.
Doug Peterson, because he's coming back. He's coming back home. So he has a statue there in Philly. Do you think So for people that spend any time around Philly, you know that place is crazy. Do they rip the statue down if the Jaguars win? Do they pull a Joe Putt thing and they pull the statue to the ground?
They might throw shit on it. I don't think they'd pull it to the ground.
Yeah, it's Philly. I wouldn't put anything past them.
Jags versus Eagles is the game of the week. I think it's going to be much better. The Jags look real good.
It's going to be a fun game to watch.
I think so. I got Jets at Steelers. Man, I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. I think it's Pickett's time, but I don't think they're going to play him. Matt Canada is a fucking awful offensive coordinator. He's better than Todd Downing, but he's terrible. I think the Jets are going to make it competitive in Heinz Field, but I think that crowd's going to be a little too much, and I think Deontay Johnson has a few catches over Sauce, my man, to get him in the end zone to win the game. Cody, Bills at Ravens.
Ooh, it's not a good one.
A lot of good games this week. I'm gonna go. Oh man, I'll go Bills.
Bills?
I think their offense is able to do a little more against the Ravens defense than the Ravens could do against the Bills defense. I mean, I don't know, man. Lamar is like playing out of his mind. He was my preseason MVP pick, by the way. Oh man. Wow, that's close. I just can't see Buffalo losing 2 in a row, so I'll go Buffalo.
Okay. Greg, Chargers at Texans.
Chargers win. They're going to bounce back. I would love to be wrong and to see them lose, but no, they're going to come back. They're going to come out firing. They lost Slater, which sucks. Bosa's probably going to be after this game. They lost Guyton as well, but I think Herbert's going to be under, or have a little bit less pain than last week, and they're going to come out and take care of business.
All right. I have Cardinals at Panthers. I think the Cardinals win. I think they're a more talented football team on both sides of the ball. But I would not be surprised if the Panthers pull up the upset. But I'm going to go Cardinals. Cody, your favorite game of the week. Patriots, Packers. Not only, for everybody watching home, not only is this Cody versus Chris, who is in here, they're also going head-to-head in 2 fantasy leagues this week after he took 2 L's to me this past week. So, Cody, go ahead. Lay it into him. He's not here. So
yeah, I mean, no, I won't rip apart. He's actually dealing. He's probably got his hands full, so I'll take it easy on him. But I mean, I'm not just making it because of Homer pick. I think Green Bay takes this one pretty easily. No Mac Jones with an offense that was already playing pretty bad. Yeah, I think, and I hope I'm not jinxing anything, but I think Green Bay takes this one pretty easily.
Pretty convincingly. I'm going to put on what Rasta put on here the last 2. Show some love.
Are the Texans like the best 0-2-1 team or what? Maybe not the best, but like the most exciting. I mean, Dameon Pierce was one of my. I was taking Dameon Pierce back in like June, July, in every freaking best ball league I could. I was getting him like 11th, 12th round, and then season came closer and his hype started going up. He's getting taken 4th, 5th round. But yeah, I mean, I think Pierce looks great. I got him in every league I could. Davis Mills isn't playing as good as I thought he would. But yeah, I mean, they're not a terrible 0-2-1 team.
I think they're exciting. I like Davis Mills myself. I think they played okay. Buki said, even though the Raiders are 0-3, it's a must-win this week against the Broncos. Yeah, if they want to stay alive. If you go 0-4 in today's NFL, odds of making the playoffs are like under 1%. So I think they need to. I think they're better than their record, too. Max Crosby's that animal. Chandler Jones has been a little quiet. Devontae Adams, I don't know what's going on. I really thought he was going to eat more that first game. He had 17 targets, and after that, he's only had like 10. So
he has scored in all 3 games. So there's that. But yeah,
you can buy low on Devontae Adams. I don't know how low you can buy on him, but if you can buy low on him, do so.
Yeah, the touchdowns are keeping him up, though. So, like I said, he's scored in every game. So he's going to score consistently. But yeah, it's weird. Though, as a Packer fan, it's weird seeing him catch one pass for, 11 yards. I don't even know how many yards it was.
He should have 8 against the Titans, and they weren't able to get him the ball, which makes no sense. Matt Collins went off. But I think if Hunter Renfrow comes back from the concussion, I haven't seen any updates on him this week in my fantasy. So if he comes back, I think they have a good chance of beating the Broncos, especially because the Broncos punted the ball 10 times last game. That being said, I'm taking the Broncos over the Raiders in Vegas this week. Everyone's so down on Russ. He's not doing great. This is week 4. This is normally when things start clicking a little bit better. This is when Tom Brady started doing a little bit better when he went to the Bucs. This is what happens when you have a quarterback that's been in one system for so damn long. I think he's going to look a little bit better. I think Cortland Sutton's going to look better. I think they're going to be able to move the ball. So I think it's a must-win for the Raiders, but I do like the Broncos. Greg, you got Chiefs at Buccaneers.
So originally I was going to take the Buccaneers in this game. However, there has been a plot twist because of the hurricane that is coming up on like Tampa area. They're saying there's a very good possibility that this game is going to be moved to Minneapolis, which is very interesting because you think, why wouldn't they move to Miami? But there's rumored that the game is going to get moved to Minneapolis because they're going to use the Tampa Stadium as almost like a refuge, unless like the hurricane completely misses Tampa, then it could be another story. But the Bucs are just so banged up right now on the offensive side. Like, Chris Godwin may not play. Julio Jones may not play. They're also missing Akeem Hicks on defense. Even though the Chiefs looked like shit in that last game, just like the Bucs did, I think the Chiefs are a better team. Bucs do have a good defense, but I think the Chiefs have enough firepower on offense to make it work. And plus, the Chiefs defense, which isn't being talked about as much, they've been playing phenomenal. I think they have like 10 sacks through 3 games. Their pass rush has been, really good. Their cornerback play has been very good. Nick Bolton has been awesome. So I like the Chiefs to win in a close one.
Excellent. Cody, you get the last game of the week. You got the Rams at the 49ers. Interesting game. I want to take, after you're done, I want to talk a little bit about the Garoppolo situation before we sign off. And don't forget that Sean McVay just can't seem to beat Shanahan. He did it in the playoffs last year, so he broke the streak. But most of the time, he does lose to the Niners. So what do you got?
Yeah, Pat actually touched on a reason I'm actually going to take the Niners. It just seems anytime the Niners and Rams play, the Niners always seem to have the upper hand. Granted, last year in the playoffs didn't go that way. But it seems every time these two teams meet in the regular season, Niners always take it. Hopefully Jimmy Garoppolo plays a little better than he did last week. Doesn't step out of the back of the end zone. I think the only person I was really happy that happened were Broncos fans and Dan Orlovsky. But yeah, I'll take Niners.
Excellent. How many points do you think are going to be scored that game? Because normally if you're in a pick'em league, you have to say how many points happen on Monday nights. So what are you thinking? High scoring, low scoring, 2 good defenses, but
I'll take 27-24 Niners.
I feel like the over-under for that game has got to be in like the high 30s or something. 42 is what it's set at. I would take the under.
You're taking under. Well, you're taking the over at 51.
What are you picking, Pat? Just remember when you guys both picked the under last week, and I picked the over, and we know who got that one right.
That's true. Right. I'm gonna end up having to go with the over.
So Greg will be right this week.
I'm gonna go with the even. I'm gonna go straight at it. They're gonna hit the point total exactly. 42. 22-20. I'm going Rams. Okay. So if anyone else has anything that they want us to talk about, put it in the comments. We try to keep the show under an hour because let's be honest, who really wants to sit here and look at me for an hour? My wife doesn't even do that.
Maybe if you took the jersey back off.
Yeah. Well, I'm Lions Pat now. I'm going to have to keep it. So if you have anything else you want to talk about, put it in there. We'll touch on it. But the thing that I want to talk about before we sign off, Jimmy Garoppolo has come in, and he hasn't looked bad because consider the fact that he hasn't practiced with this team. If you remember, everyone's like, this is Trey Lance's team. We don't want the distraction. Jimmy G was practicing in camp by himself on a separate field. So this is like his preseason. So he doesn't have the feel for the offense. He doesn't have the feel for his players. I mean, yeah, he's been the starter with these guys before, but there's an offseason. There's some breaks. He got injured. He had surgery. He's coming back. If he continues the ball out, because he's made it to like 3 NFC championship games and 2 Super Bowls. If he continues the ball out, he makes it to another championship game or another Super Bowl. Even though they said this is Trey's team, do they keep Jimmy G? Or how about this? If Jimmy G wins the Super Bowl, do they trade Trey Lance? What do you guys think?
I mean, I said it a couple weeks ago, kind of as a joke, but kind of half serious, that the Niners should have traded Trey Lance away, got a better return on their investment. Well, not investment, return than you would Jimmy G, and just kept Jimmy G because I think he's the better quarterback anyway.
But they're at that position where they traded so many picks now that they count their losses and they send it. I think if he wins the Super Bowl, then they really have to consider it. Even if they make it but they lose again, they're getting rid of him.
I think it's going to come down to whether or not, like, how much of it is Jimmy G, because you've seen in previous years where I feel like the defense has been pretty strong for the Niners, and that's what's pretty much carried him, and he's pretty much been a game manager. Mm-hmm. So if he goes maybe to that next level, which I don't see it happening, like above and beyond where he goes, more than a game manager, and he's starting to, control the game and actually, prove that he's a good quarterback, then they might be in a situation where they will have to make a tough decision. But if it's like more of the same where he's just average, maybe slightly above average, and the defense is the reason they're in these games and winning these games, I think it's Trey Lance's team.
All right. Thanks, guys, for everybody listening at home. There's nothing else in the comments, so we're going to get off here. If you haven't hit this subscribe button in the corner yet, please hit that for us. Try to get as many people as we can. Also, we do a check-down, check-in at the end of the week, so make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We're going to be posting on there when we're going to be doing it. And if you make sure you subscribe, you're going to get all the information so you can stay up to date on it. I want to say thanks, everybody. Thank you, Cody. Thank you, Greg. It's been fun. Peace, guys.
Later.
See you guys. I was not ready for this. All right, now goodbye.